Don't take anything for granted that has not passed through your own reason and judgment. Don't just say, okay, yeah, that's a phrase, so I'm going to start parroting it and believing it. We back with another reflection on that TDV. Today's reflection is on a fundamental difference between philosophy of Vedanta, or Advaita Vedanta, to get specific, and nearly all major world religions and traditions. And that is this. And this is first mile stuff. This isn't like advanced deep cuts within the philosophy. But the fundamental difference between this philosophy and perhaps something like Christianity is this philosophy is not built around beliefs. There is very little value in just a belief system, little emphasis placed on a belief system within this philosophy. This philosophy is built around experience. Aldous Huxley called Vedanta the practical philosophy. He also called it the perennial philosophy. But in the practical philosophy, 97% of this entire philosophy is on the practical side. Navigating life, relationships, goals, challenges, navigating all of just this stuff. 97% of this philosophy is focused on the practical side of living. That's why it's often called Manual for Living Well. It's the manual for navigating this experience here. The 3% that's in the advanced side, the esoteric side of the philosophy, the absolute transcendental side. That's not so much about the here and now. That 3% is summed up in 3 words. Tattvam asi, that thou art, which is known as a Mahavakya, great phrase. The entire philosophy is encompassed in that 3-word phrase. But on the practical side, the 97% of the philosophy, wisdom is the capacity to see the end in the beginning. Love is seeing no otherness in the world. Life is to strive and to struggle, not to succeed. That which is like poison in the beginning is like nectar in the end. That which is like nectar in the beginning is like poison in the end. These are knowledge bombs that help us in our practical lives. But whether it is the practical or the transcendental, the through line between both and the fundamental difference between a philosophy like Vedanta and a religion like Christianity is that none of it requires belief. You either experience something like, oh yeah, wisdom is the capacity to see the end in the beginning. Or yeah, a lot of things that are like nectar in the beginning, that are sweet in the beginning, end up being poison in the end. Maybe I should, gut check, take a little elbow room from the things that are just so sweet to the touch or taste. Because maybe they're not as nutritious as the things that are like really hard in the beginning, or might taste bitter. And yet, weeks, months, years later, those are the nutritious things that are fundamental to a great life. So you experiment with these to see if your experience matches up with the principles. Another word for this philosophy, Sanatana Dharma, 2 words. Another term for this philosophy, Sanatana Dharma, means eternal principles. That's all this is. But these are not principles that you just hope for, close your eyes, and you hope after you die that they were correct. You can try them out 10 minutes from now. You can try them out in a meeting you might have that is uncomfortable. It's going to be really hard in 3 hours. Try out, see if, okay, that discomfort, wow, there's so much liberation on the other side of that. So much sweetness on the other side of that. Or, yeah, every time I don't identify with someone I say I love, do I really love them? Or is that definition true? Love is seeing no otherness, identifying with another. Any of these principles within all of these episodes of the Daily Vedantic, they can be experimented with. They're meant to be experimented with. They're meant to be questioned like crazy. Kick the tires. Don't take any of Swami says all the time, don't take anything for granted that has not passed through your own reason and judgment. Don't just say, okay, yeah, that's a phrase, so I'm going to start parroting it and believing it. You got to, as he often says, you've got to take the objective and make it subjective. Even if it's a great phrase and it's in the transcendental side that has been uttered for 8,000 years of that thou art. You are that. You are what is, as esoteric as that might seem, as transcendental as like, okay, that's a deep cut. I'm not quite ready for something like that. I kind of like the more practical side of things. But even the deep cuts, even that great phrase, the totality of the philosophy in 3 words, that's meant to be experienced, not meant to be believed. And a belief, that is the difference between reading about surfing and experiencing surfing. They're not, a belief and an experience, they're not different in degree, they are different in kind. And that's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.